Okay, now you talk about the context of children labor and what the Brazilian legislation says about that. Okay, now I will talk about the historical context. During the Middle Ages, child labor was a common practice to supplement family income. Under feudalism, children are considered apprentices to artisans benefiting the feudal lords. During the Industrial Revolution, the demand for labor increased, leading children to work in unhealthy conditions and for low wages. That all practice was condemned and prohibition in the most part of the world. Uh, Poverty is the main driver of child labor according to the UN, that means United Nations. Now I will talk about what the Brazilian legislation says about that. The Federal Constitution of 1988, Art 7, prohibits all forms of work for children and teenagers under 16 years of age, but the only allowed exception is professional apprenticeship, which can begin at the age of 40. Under 18 work is strictly prohibited for individuals if it's categorized as nighttime, hazardous, or unhealthy. The Constitution says that the categories of work compromise the full physical, psychological, cognitive, social, and moral development of the child or teenager.
What is child labor? Well, according to UNICEF, child labor refers to work that children are too young to perform by its nature or circumstances that can be hazardous. Unlike activities that help children develop, such as contributing to light housework or taking on a job during school holidays, child labor causes harm to a child's health, safety, or moral development. Where does it happen? A report made in 2013 by Risk Analysis for Maplecroft ranks 197 countries, identifies Eritrea, Somalia, Democratic Republic of Congo, Myanmar, Sudan, Afghanistan, Pakistan, Zimbabwe, and Yemen as the 10 places where child labor is most prevalent.
Now we're going to talk about a case of child labor. In Piauí, three teenagers were rescued from slave-like conditions in a flour mill in Marcolândia. They were peeling cassava for processing, an activity listed on the list of worst forms of child labor. The action took place at a time when the Chamber of Deputies were debating lowering the minimum age of working. The three teenagers aged 13, 15, and 17 worked to help their family earn an income. According to Labor Inspector Claudio Secchi, who coordinated the operation, each of them peeled approximately 4 barrels a day using a knife and scraper, kneeling, sitting on a wooden stump, or leaning against a wall. They changed positions frequently due to the uncomfortable position and the pain from repetitive strain. They worked for 5 months without interruption. They had no bathroom, had to bring their own work tools, and were not provided with personal protective equipment. It's worth remembering that the intense dust dispersion from cassava processing can cause respiration problems. Each of the teenagers received severance pay and individual moral damages, and they will be entitled to 3 months of special unemployment insurance paid to those rescued from slave labor in Brazil since 2003. The employer signed a conduct adjustment agreement with the Ministry of Labor, committing to comply with the legislation.
Ending child labor requires a combination of education, laws, and community action. First, governments must strictly enforce laws that prohibit child labor and ensure that all children have access to free quality education. When families know their children can study safely and have better opportunities in the future, they are less likely to send them to work. Second, it is essential to reduce poverty, since many families depend on the income their children bring. Creating jobs for adults with fair wages can help families meet their needs without exploiting their children. Third, awareness campaigns can teach communities about the dangers of child labor and the importance of childhood development. Finally, international organizations like UNICEF and the ILO must continue to work with local governments to provide support, training, and protection for vulnerable children. By combining education, economic support, and strong laws, society can build a world where every child has the right to learn, grow, and dream freely.